All right, so here we are with an interesting topography that we're going to try to model in Rhino, and then after it's modeled, try to clean it up a little. So in this case, we're gonna use the tool patch, and that tool is gonna ask us, after you do that, to select all the elements you want to patch, and then you click enter. Once you click enter, it's gonna ask you essentially how smooth you want it, how many vertices you want, how many sample points, and so forth. You could play with that and it will make it a little more smoother or less smoother, but for this purpose we're just gonna say okay. So after it makes this interesting topography, we realize that this edge is not relevant, and this is generally following the topo. So Heather asks, how do we trim this thing? Well, simple. So I'm just gonna click show, and why do I click show? And I'm actually gonna hide that plane because I want the edges of this thing right here. So I want, if you had all of the edges, I want all of the edges that make up this piece. And I'm actually gonna hide this real quick. So in this case, I think that, and probably that, and probably that. It's all one outline. Is that right?
Yes.
So we're gonna join that outline real quick. And now it created one nice, beautiful surface. Okay, so we're gonna then go and show. Show is what you do to unhide things. And we're going to do something pretty interesting. It's called project. Literally, it's gonna be project. And it asks, what curve do you want to project? So I'm gonna select the outline that we just talked about. And then it's gonna say, okay, you've already selected what you want to project. And then where do you want to project it? And you pick the surface where you want it to be projected. And then you click enter. And now it has literally projected that outline onto this piece. The next step is pretty straightforward. You're just gonna extrude that curve up. I mean, I don't want it open like that, but you get the point. And then you're just gonna say split. And for split, it's gonna say objects you want to split that topo, and objects you want to split it with that volume. And after that, the rest is history. This is kind of funny looking here still, but hey, it complies with about 90% of it. I think something is just wrong here, to be honest. Like with, maybe there's a line when you imported it. You know what? I think so. Like look, you see that line right there, the blue line.
Mm-hmm.
When I did the patch, it's finding things outside. That's what I think. That's my theory. Like, look, that, you see that right there? That's creating this problem.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the one. So that's why it's very important when you're doing a topo from CAD, because CAD is messy by nature. Like, things are flying, lines go everywhere, it's eternal. So there are probably things floating around, and it's just a good idea to clean it up and then try to do it again. In fact, I would recommend that we do it again after this. But this concludes this little module on how to create a topo and crop it with projection.